This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
And here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Saturday, April the 13th, 2024. And this is the Dr. Sem Yankees Show. I'm trying something new today without the headphones, since I'm not talking to anyone on this podcast. It will just be me talking to you. But since I don't have to hear any instructions or someone else speaking, I figured maybe I could go without the headphones. And we'll see how it goes. Of course, now I can't hear myself as I would if I had the headphones on, listening to what's being recorded. But I think this will work. Let's make today a great day. And how do you make each day great? Why, you look for the good. And there is plenty of good that's out there. When we see good things and we notice them and we appreciate them, we see how much life has to offer. Now, again, some people say there's nothing good. I can't find anything good. I can't find anything to appreciate. Well, if that's the case, then do something nice. Find a way to give of yourself from your heart, or donate money, or donate time. Do something nice for someone else. And then you will see that there is good because you're creating it. And you'll also help other people see the good that you're doing for them. Speaking of good, the Yankees, my goodness, what a great start. Isn't it fun when the Yankees win? Oh, it's the best. So last night, the Yankees were rained out. They were supposed to play in Cleveland against the Guardians, but alas, the game was rained out. So where does that leave us? Today, the Yankees will be playing a doubleheader against the Guardians. Now, this, in my opinion, is a big deal because I have always felt that it's difficult to win a doubleheader. It's just hard to go out there twice on the same day and win 2 baseball games. There's just too many variables. And one of the big variables is that many players don't play both games. The manager tries to find ways to rest players. And as such, you don't necessarily see teams putting out their very best lineups for both games. So if the Yankees somehow can win both ends of the day-night doubleheader today and tonight in Cleveland, oh boy, they are going to be rocking. So I've so much to talk about today. I just wish this show was 7 hours long instead of 30 minutes. But let's begin by reminding you that Start Spreading the News is brought to you by Artemisia Publishing. They are a small independent publisher who have been creating quality books, award-winning quality books from quality authors for 20 years. You can check out all of their titles online at apbooks.net. Right there is where you can see all of the books that they have. I highly recommend one of their latest. It's called 365.2, Going the Distance, A Runner's Journey. The people who have read this have told me They're very inspired. It's my story from the year 2022 when I ran every single day for an entire calendar year. And while it's about me and it's about my running, it's more about the idea that you can set goals and you can achieve them. You'll see there were days when I didn't want to run, and there were days when I was injured, and there were times when it was seeming impossible for me to run every single day for a calendar year. But I did. And if I can achieve great things, so can you. So you can find that book at any major bookseller. If they're not carrying it, ask them to get it in. Or you can find it on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, or as we say, you can go to apbooks.net. Of course, I recommend that you visit the greatest Yankees site in the whole world, startspreadingthenews.blog. As you know, we have articles every single day at 6 a.m., 10 a.m., 2 p.m. And now that the season is here, we have a game thread every game. And for most games, except if they get way too late, a quick hit after to recap which team won. And then the next morning at 6 a.m., we do it all again with a recap, a game summary of the entire game. Speaking of running, this is not confirmed 100% yet, but I will be running the New York City Marathon in November. It's quite a ways away, but it will be here before we know it. And I'm very excited to say that if everything works out, I will be running the race for the charity of the Sesame Workshop. So I'm looking forward to having the opportunity to running and supporting the Sesame Workshop, which obviously brings great programming to children. You can see that picture again from last year. That was me at the New York City Marathon Expo. I met my friend Elmo and, we went out and did some running together. So that's some good stuff. And hopefully, once I get more information on that, we've been in a lot of communication. I will let everyone know how you can support my race and the Sesame Workshop. Now, on this show and on the Start Spreading the News podcast, Monday nights at 9, and on the site Start Spreading the News, I have been very critical of the Yankees and Major League Baseball for putting so many games on streaming services. The Yankees' second game of the year, after we waited all winter long for baseball, the second game of the year was put on Apple TV. I found that egregious. I found it horrific. I found it a bald-faced money grab. And so I was writing an article which ran yesterday afternoon. If you go to Start Spreading the News, you can read it, on the Yankees and their television schedule for 2024. And my intent when I wrote the article was to criticize, complain, and make very apparent how bad of a job the Yankees and Major League Baseball are doing in taking the games away from the fans. Last year, the Yankees were on all sorts of different channels: Peacock, Apple TV, Prime, ESPN, Fox, TBS, I believe, the Yes Network. They might have also been on Channel 11. And it just got to be too much. You could never find them. You never even knew where to look. Well, I did an analysis, as I said, and we ran yesterday on Start Spreading the News. And I actually have to take a lot of my criticism back, and I have to say the Yankees and Major League Baseball have actually done a pretty good job. A lot of those other channels are gone. And the way it looked to me in my analysis by looking at some charts, the Yankees will be on Apple TV a grand total of one more time the rest of the year. Now, they have a host of games on Prime, which I don't like. And they've basically taken the Wednesday games for most of the season. From now until the All-Star break, if you want to watch the Yankees on a Wednesday, you can't. They'll be on Prime. Then I think the first Wednesday after the All-Star break, I believe, is an ESPN game. And then the next week, I believe, is a Yes game. And then all of August, again, is Prime, and the first 2 weeks of September. So that's not good. But on the other hand, I do like that it's consistent. I don't like that it's consistent for a person who has Wednesdays off or Thursdays off, and that's how they want to watch the Yankees. And now they can't. That's their one day when they can, and now they can't. But I do like that it's pretty self-explanatory. If it's a Wednesday, since the Yankees have some games on streaming, that's the day they're going to be on Amazon Prime. I don't like that they do this. But again, there's only one more game on Apple TV. So that's a good thing. And then the only other streaming service they're on will be Prime. And I did the calculations, and maybe I counted wrong. This wasn't very scientific. It was me looking at the calendar and counting how many games there were, and then counting how many games were on Yes. But it seems to me that 80% of the Yankee games going forward are going to be on the Yes Network. So 8 out of every 10 games will be on Yes. And then there will be the other games, like the ones on Fox and ESPN, which means that more than 80% of the Yankee games will be available without the person having to buy a streaming service to see the season. So, you know what? I have to give the Yankees some props and Major League Baseball. While I don't like what they're doing, I don't like that they take the game away from the fans. It seems, I didn't study it from last year, but it seems there are fewer games that are taken away from the fans this year. It seems that way. But it's definitely true, unless things change, that there are fewer streaming services that'll get in the way. All right. Let's see. I guess today is my day to say I was wrong about certain things. Now, I was wrong, as I said, about the TV. And through the first bit of the season, the first 2 weeks, it seems I might have been wrong about Giancarlo Stanton. He's off to a pretty good start. And what I really liked seeing, especially the other day, wasn't just that he hit a home run going the other way. He always does that. He's strong. He can be late on a fastball, and if he hits it in the air fair, it could go out of the park, especially at Yankee Stadium. But he had an at-bat a couple of nights ago where it was an outside pitch, and instead of just hammering it over the wall, he just took the outside pitch, I believe it was for a double, the other way. It was absolute true hitting. Now, I said he was done. He's looked done for at least the last year and a half. And somehow he's started off the season looking pretty good. So in an article on Start Spreading the News yesterday, I think it was Andy Singer's mailbag, they were talking about, should you be concerned about Aaron Judge? And so I wrote, tongue-in-cheek, kidding, Well, he's washed up. He's done. They ought to bat him seventh. All these are the things I was saying about Giancarlo Stanton. My thought being, if I can say it about Stanton and be wrong, and he can hit really well, maybe I should say it about Judge and be wrong, and he can hit really well again, too. I believe with Judge, there is the concern because he's not hitting, and he hit under 250. I don't have the exact number in front of me. I've said it before on the show. But when he came back from that toe injury last summer, his batting average, and I know people, batting average doesn't mean anything. I still think it means a lot. It might not mean as much as it used to, but I think a batting average is still a very fair way to assess a batter's effectiveness. And last year he was hitting only 240 something after coming back from that toe injury. And this year, well, he's not really hitting at all. And we know he missed time in spring training with a core injury. And we know that the toe thing is something that, as they say, will require constant and continual attention. There was a graphic up on the game the other night, and it said this is the latest into a season, and Aaron Judge is hitting under 200, I believe. Something like that. But it basically saying across his entire career, this is the worst start he's ever had. So you have to wonder, is he healthy? And then you have to wonder, based on the way the Yankees handled injuries last year, you have to wonder, are they talking to him about this? Is he being honest about this? If Aaron Judge isn't 100%, and I don't know that he's not, but he's not hitting, and he didn't hit when he came back from the toe, and basically everyone admitted last year he was rushed back. If he's not hitting, and he didn't hit last year, and this is all following an injury, and then he had a core injury in spring training on top of that, you have to wonder, at least, if he's hurt, if he's not 100%. But I don't know that, nor will I ever know that, because I'm not in the locker room. And even if I were, I doubt Aaron Judge would be honest in talking to me. I wish he would be. Aaron Judge, if you'd like, give me a call and we can talk about it. But seriously, it's not that he needs to talk to me about it. It's, does he talk to the Yankees? The manager, the general manager, the coaches, the medical personnel. Do they know? Does Judge know? Are they asking the right questions? People say that Aaron Boone is a great communicator. Yet last year, Anthony Rizzo played for 9 weeks with a concussion. A great communicator, someone who works well and knows his players and has a good relationship with them, I wouldn't think would see something like that go on for 9 weeks. A great communicator would sit down with the guy, say, yo, Anthony, what's going on? How you feeling? This isn't good. And they check in with him frequently. That's what you call great communication. It doesn't seem like that was done last year. So this year, are they having those conversations with Aaron Judge? Has the manager created an environment whereby the players can be honest about their injuries? I hope so. Now, someone who's certainly not injured, Juan Soto. To all the Soto haters out there from last year, I can't believe the Yankees gave up 45 million pitchers for this guy. I think he's showing he's worth it. He is a game-changing presence. Again, I think Bryce Harper would have been a player like that for the Yankees. But now we have Juan Soto. Reggie Jackson was a player like that for the Yankees. Big personality, big clutch hitter, not overwhelmed by the big moment. Yeah, I think Juan Soto is going to be a fun addition to this club. And I'm so glad they got him. And I'm so glad it's working out so well so far. So I read an article for the Internet Baseball Writers Association of America, the IBWAA, of which I am a proud member. They have a newsletter that goes out every day called Here's the Pitch. I contribute monthly to that newsletter, oftentimes, multiple times a month. And I wrote a piece that ran yesterday that has to do with baseball, but it has to do also with the next book I'm writing. This has nothing to do with the Yankees, but here's a statue that's on the battlefield at Gettysburg. Now, most people don't know who that statue is of. Most people don't even know where that statue is because the battlefield, if you've ever been to Gettysburg, there's the big battlefield part, and then there's other parts that are sort of around the town and across the streets, the roads from the big battlefield. Because the monuments and the markers are at the spots in and around the town where the Battle of Gettysburg took place over 3 days to begin July in 1863. And that guy, this guy, well, he helped the Union hold off the Confederates on the first day of the battle. Then on the second day, after holding the Confederates for about 6 hours on the first day, his troops retreated to the high ground. And on the second day, he helped repel a Confederate advance and secure the Union lines. And then on the third day, he actually engineered or suggested a flanking movement with some of the troops under his command from Vermont that helped stop what's been known as Pickett's Charge, the last gasp effort of the Confederates to break the Union lines. As a general, the man in that statue, on all 3 days at Gettysburg, helped them secure the victory. And yet, when the history of the battle has been written, most people don't write about him. There's other characters that get much more print. When you watch the movie Gettysburg, he's not mentioned. He's not in it. When you read the book, the Pulitzer Prize-winning book, The Killer Angels, and I love the movie and I love the book, he's not mentioned. Other people have big chapters written about them. Not this guy. But that guy has a connection to baseball because that guy is the man that they say invented the game. The man who was a hero at the Battle of Gettysburg, helping to secure the victory for the Union, which helped secure keeping this country as one country. He helped save the United States of America. Was none other, believe it or not, than Abner Doubleday, the man who is given credit for inventing baseball, even though he didn't really invent baseball. So that's fun stuff. You know, if you go to start spreading the news, there's a little button on there that says you can email us, contact us, things like that. If there is a topic you would like me to cover on this program, let me know. Send me an email. I will get back to you. And if there's something you'd like me to discuss, some question you have, that would be a great place to send me the message so that I can answer your questions on this show. Now, there is no guarantee I'll answer all the questions. If there are questions that are inappropriate or unacceptable, I won't read them on the air. I won't address them. I probably won't even reply to those. And some questions are things I may not have answers to, so I may not answer them. Sometimes people troll and they just ask silly things. I'm not going to answer nonsense. But if you have a legitimate question, something you'd like me to think about and to discuss here on the Dr. Sem Show, drop me a line. I would love to hear from you. All right, my friends. Half an hour goes way too quickly. I crossed everything off my list. Big doubleheader today against the Guardians. Raise your hand if you still call them the Indians, because I do. In the meantime, when I'm not writing for Start Spreading the News, the greatest Yankee site there is, I'm working on my great new book on the Battle of Gettysburg. But before that comes out, and it's years away at this point, make sure you go out and get a copy of 365.2 Going the Distance, A Runner's Journey, as a way to motivate yourself, as a way to say, I can live my dreams. I can do it because you can. That's the great news. You can. And then when I say make today a great day, you'll say, how could I not? I set a goal and I reached it. But even before you reach it, the idea that you set a goal and you're working towards it is reward in and of itself. And even when you go backwards, as you go forwards in pursuit of your dreams, you're still going in the right direction because you're moving toward the dream. Sometimes the dream takes us backwards. We have a stumble or a fall. But that doesn't mean that the end result isn't just ahead. And if I can do it, you can. Read the story, 365.2. All right. Have yourselves a wonderful day. The Mac and Jack Show, if you're watching on Roku, will be up at 9 a.m. I'll be there. And I'll be there next week as well. The week after, I'm going to be at a book festival. But all that's for the future. And I'll see you again Monday night at 9, live, the Start Spreading the News podcast with me and Dr. E.J. Fagan. Have